All right, I think I'm live now. Can someone in the chat confirm if I'm live and if the audio is perfect? Yes, Shivam says yes. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll be discussing code forces round 859. It's a Div-4 round, a pretty easy one. We'll be solving all the problems. And let's start in a minute or two. I think like many of the people might be tired because it was a 2 hour 15 minutes contest. But yeah, I think the stream will be 1 hour long. I'll cover all the questions very fast today. The starting ones will just directly talk about the solutions. Okay, cool. How many equations were you all able to solve today? Let me know about that. Because it's a Div-4 round, and I think most of the people here are actually somewhere rated around 1300, 1400. That is what I think. So I would like to know like how many of you were able to solve how many problems. Yagnik says 6. I'm assuming from A to F. By 6 you mean? Sarthak also says 6. Seems like people were not able to do G1 and G2 then. But F actually has very less submissions compared to all the other problems. So maybe people might not F and E. Okay, G1 and G2 you were able to do. Oh yeah, G1 and G2 have more submissions than E as well. Okay, cool. F is actually just an implementation problem, nothing much. And interview is, I don't really remember the problem now. Was busy with AdCoder. Was there any other contest on AdCoder? I'm rated 840, was able to solve 2. If you're rated 840, it's good that you were able to solve 2. Try solving 3 to 4 problems in the next one. And try to solve other Div-4 contests as well. For B problem, isn't it that one should have more candies at every moment, or find it should be more? At every moment you need to have more candies. Hanur says 6. I'm assuming A, B, C, D and G1, G2. Jagnik says not E and F. Okay, cool. A to D, G1 and G2. I think that is pretty much everybody was able to solve A to D and then G1 and G2. So I think most of the people here are for E and F. AdCoder beginner contest 295. Okay, I didn't know about that. And I have never given any AdCoder contest actually. Not able to solve E and F. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Let's start with the stream. Do like the stream, guys. I only see 7 likes right now. And I'll go in order only from A to G1, G2. Okay. And I'll cover A, B, C, and D very fast today. Okay. Alright, so let's start with the very first problem, which is A plus or minus. I think Codeforces is slow right now, even right now. Maybe system testing is going on. I'm not sure. Okay, it is not even opening it. Okay, let's wait for a minute. Let's see if it opens. Yeah, okay, problem. Alright, so problem is very easy. We are given 3 numbers A, B and C, and we need to tell if A plus B equals to C or A minus B equals to C. That's all you have to do in the question. Okay. There are very less test cases. Range is also very slow. So all you have to do is if A plus B equals to C, print plus, otherwise print yes. That is exactly what I've done. If A plus B equals to C, then I'm printing plus, otherwise I'm printing minus. And that's all. Alright, so let's move to the second question, which is grab the candy. Alright, so Mihai and Bianca are playing with bags of candies. They have a row A of n bags of candies. The ith bag has AI candies. The bags are given to the players in the order from the first bag to the nth bag. If a bag has even number of candies, Mihai grabs the bag. Otherwise, Bianca grabs the bag. Once the bag is grabbed, the number of candies in it gets added to the total number of candies of the player that took it. So basically, there are 2 people, Mihai and Bianca. Okay, if the number of candies in any bag is even, then Mihai takes it. Otherwise, Bianca takes it. Okay, and all you have to do is at every point when Mihai and Bianca are taking candies, you need to ensure that Mihai has more number of candies, okay, than Bianca. That's all you have to do. Now, you can actually rearrange the area as well. So basically, what you need to do is at every point you need to maximize the number of candies that Mihai has and minimize the number of candies that Bianca has. One way to do is, since we know that Mihai will only take even number of candies, what you can actually do is take all the even sets in the very start. So basically rearrange the entire array and take all the even values in the starting and then keep all the odd values in the end. Okay. After doing that, then check if at every point Bianca has lesser candies than Mihai. If that's the case, print yes, otherwise print true. Okay. So basically, now one more thing. Since let's say first half of the array has even values now and the remaining half has odd values now. Okay. Now if you see for the first half of the array, Bianca will have 0 number of candies, but Mihai will actually get all the candies. And then after that, after every iteration, Bianca will keep getting some candies. If at the end, if you see, Bianca has lesser number of candies than Mihai, then we can say that at every point, Mihai had more number of candies than Bianca. And that's all you have to do. So basically, find out the sum of all the even values and sum of all the odd values. If the sum of even values is greater than sum of the odd values, then we can say that Mihai will always have more candies than Bianca. That's all you have to do. Okay, I hope the logic is clear to everyone. I'll quickly show the code as well. Alright, so this is the code and exactly I'm doing that thing only. So basically, what I'm just doing is for every element in the array, I'm just checking if it's an even number. If it's an even number, I'm giving all the candies to Mihai. Otherwise, I'm giving all the candies to Bianca. And then in the end, I'm just checking if Mihai has greater the number of candies than Bianca. If that's the case, print yes. Otherwise, print no. And that's all you have to do. Alright, so again, pretty simple question of n complexity. I hope everybody was able to do this question. And let's move to the next one. So, I'm not really putting much effort in starting questions because they were very easy. If you still want me to elaborate those questions, just let me know. Okay. Alright, so Codeforces is a little slow right now. So, okay. Problem C, find and replace. You're given a string S consisting of lowercase Latin characters. In one operation, you can take a character and replace all the occurrences of this character with 0 or replace all the occurrences of this character with 1. So basically, in an entire string, if you have any number like A, there are occurrences of A, then you can take all the A's, replace them with either zeros or ones. Okay. Is it possible to perform some number of moves so that the resulting string is an alternate binary string? What is an alternate binary string? It's 010101 or 101010. Okay. That's all you have to do. Now, how do we really do this? Let's look at the test cases. Let's look at the very first test case, which is A, B, A, C, A, B, A. Okay. Now, if you see, A is at the first index, third index, fifth index, and seventh index. Which means if I replace all these indexes with 0, nothing changes. Everything is perfect right now because all zeros are alternate. And then what I can do is I can take all B's which are at this and this and replace them with ones. And then I can take the last C remaining and again replace it by 1. Since this is an alternative string of 0 and 1, we can say that this is a good string. And hence the answer is yes. Now how do we really do this? If you see what exactly we did was we just saw what are all the indexes where A was present. Since the first A was present at first index, which is an odd index, we need to ensure that every other value of A is also present at an odd index. If we had one more A after this, then this A would have been at the 8th index, which is an even index. And then we would have said that it is not possible to make a good string out of this because if we replace this A by 0, okay, because all the A's were replaced by 0, then this won't be an alternating string. Okay, and that's how all you have to do it. So basically, for every character, you just have to see which all indexes they were present at, and then for every index, you just have to see if either all the indexes were even or either all the indexes were odd, and that's all you have to do. I hope the logic is clear to everyone. I'll quickly show the code as well. What's happening? Okay. There are some queries in the chat. I'll read them after this question. Okay. So what I'm actually doing here is first I'm taking n as the input, then I'm taking the entire string, and then I have a map m. Now in this map, I have a map of character in it. So basically my key is actually going to be a character and my value is actually going to be an integer. Okay, what I'm actually doing is for every index in this string, let's say A, B, A, C, A, B, A, this only. For every character, we are at the very first character right now. M dot find S of I. S of I is A. See if A is present in the map. Since it is not present in the map, go to else. Oh, sorry. Since it is not present in the map, go to else and say M of Si equals to I percentage 2. So basically in the map for A, I will write I percentage 2. What is I right now? I right now is 0. So 0 percentage 2 is 0. Then I'll move to the next index, which means I is now 1. And I'll do the same thing again. Since this B is not present in the map, again I'll go into the else loop and then see that M of B is actually equal to I percentage 2. I is 1, 1 percentage 2 is 1. Okay, and then again taking A, now I have an A again. For this A, I will say that A is present in the map. So what I have to do is I have to check if M of A is 0 right now, is equals to I percentage 2. What is I? I right now is 2. 2 percentage 2 is 0. Since 0 is equals to 0, okay, now we don't have to go into this if and we just have to move forward. We'll go to the next index. Now a C comes. Since this C is not present, we'll have this else and I'll say for this C, my I right now is 3. 3 percentage 2 is 1. So I'll mark 1 here. And I'll keep on going like this. If any condition comes when polarity of that index is not equal to the polarity of the previous indexes, then I'll say my flag is equal to 1 and I'll break out of this loop. If my flag is 1, I'll print no, otherwise I'll print yes. I use the term polarity because when you are actually checking if it is an even index or an odd index, you actually use it, say that by saying polarity, that if it's an even polarity or it's an odd polarity. That's how you say it. Okay, I hope this is also clear to everyone. And we can move to the next question. Before that, let me just read the chat. Okay, in G1, G2, I thought of generating all subsequences. No, you can't really do that. Bhanu says, sir, E वाले question का answer leak कर दिया था इसलिए मेरी rank 2045 चली गई. Okay. E is which question? I don't. अच्छा, I think E is the interactive problem. सर E वाले में ज़्यादातर submissions same to same ही cheating हुई है. Oh, okay. भैया C भी solve करना. C I have already solved C. Take fifth example. Okay, let me just go to the fifth example. What do I go to? Fifth example is which one? Fifth example is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. N, I, N, F, I, A. So I have a map of character and end. At the very first index, my I right now is 0. I'll go take the first index, which is N. I'll say that in the map, N is 0. Because for 0 index, 0 percentage 2 is 0. Then I'll come on to I. Okay, I'll say for I, my index is 1. So again, polarity will be 1. Then I'll go to another N and my index is 2. Since my N is already present, I'll just have to see if 2 percentage 2 is equal to this 0. Since it is equal to 0 only, hence nothing changes, move forward. Now I have an F. Since F is the first occurrence, I'll say F is equals to, my I right now is 3, 3 percentage 2 is 1. Okay, and then again an I comes, my I right now is 4. So for 4, I will say, now for this 4, I will say 4 percentage 2 is 0. But my I came at N 1. Therefore, this is mismatch and we can say the answer is no. And as you can see, for the fourth index, the answer is no. Alright, so moving forward, instead we can also use two sets for alternate indexes and check for the intersection of the sets. Yeah, you could do that. I just check the difference between last occurrence and current occurrence of alphabet should be even. No, that is not the right answer. Okay, because there might be that there are 3 occurrences and the middle occurrence is not with the same polarity. Okay, I think you mean parity. Parity. Yeah, you could say parity also. Polarity is also used actually. Yes, sir, I have done it. Okay, D do please, sir. Okay, cool. Let's move to D. I hope ABC are clear to everyone. If not, just let me know. I'll explain again. Okay, we have odd queries. Given array A1 till AN, answer Q queries of the following form. If we change all the elements in the range AL till AR of an array to K, will the sum of the entire array be odd? That's all you have to do. all the queries are independent, meaning that if you have the first query, that doesn't really change the array. You just have to consider that query for that test case. In the next query, you have to take the original array only. That is what we mean by independent. Okay, so let's take the very first case only. Okay, so the very first question is 2, 2, 1, 3 and 2. This is the array of length 5. Okay, and we have 5 number of queries. My very first query is 2, 3 and 3. This is L, this is R and this is K. My indexes are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This query is saying take my indexes from 2 to 3 and change them to 3. So basically this will become 3, this will become 3. What is my new sum right now? 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2. Okay, and this actually becomes what? 9 plus 4, 13. Okay, since this is odd, the answer is yes. Similarly, for the next case, we have to actually change these with 4, 2, 3 and 4. Change the indexes values from 2 to 3 with 4. So this becomes 2 plus 4 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 and the sum is actually 15. Again odd, answer is yes. That's how you have to do it. Now, if you see, if you look at the input, we have n number of queries and n is from 2 to the 10 to the power 5 and q is also 2 into 10 to the power 5. Okay. Yeah. Is also 2 into 10 to the power 5. So if you calculate the sum for every query, the time complexity to calculate the sum for one query is O of n. And if you do it for every query, your complexity becomes O of n times q, which is actually of the range 10 to the power 10, which you cannot do. What you can do is you can optimize the time required to actually find the sum of the entire array. How you can do that? Let's say we had this array 2, 2, 1, 3, 2. So we had 2, 2, 1, 3 and 2. Okay, and let me write the indexes as well. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This is my array right now. What if I create a prefix array which actually contains the sum of all the values of that index and previous indexes? So basically this will be 2 only because there is only one value right now. 2 only. For the next one it will become 4. For the next one it will be 5. For the next one it will be 8. And for the last one it will be 10. What I've done is this 8 tells me that it is the sum of all the values till this index. Okay. Now what I have to do is, my sum is 10 right now, I know that. Let's say I had to change all my values from the second index till the fourth index. And let's say I had a 0 index as well and the value was 0, so prefix value is also 0. The only reason why I'm doing this is to make one based indexing possible and to have the computations a little easier. Okay, so I had to change all the values from the second index till the fourth index to some k. What I can do is my new sum will now become my previous sum minus all these values. How do I really find these values? I'll say my prefix of R minus prefix of L minus 1. Why I'm doing this? This is R, this is L. This R says that my sum is 8. This L says that L minus 1 says that my sum is 2. So 8 minus 2 will give me 6. And if you see, sum of all these three values is also 6. So with this, we actually subtracted the sum of all the original values. Now I need to add k times R minus L plus 1. R minus L plus 1 is length of the subsequence that we are changing, and k is the value with which we have to change every index. This is my new sum. If I calculate this value, I can actually calculate this as O of 1 only because we have already pre-calculated the prefix R. After finding every sum in O of 1, we can just check if it is even or odd. If it's odd, print yes, otherwise print no. And that's all you have to do. Okay, I hope this is also clear. The logic is clear to everyone. Let me show the code as well very fast. Okay, let me read the chart as well. Can you use prefix sum and suffix sum for keeping the sum of original array? Then we will see by prefix plus suffix plus value. The exchange values order rate. Yeah, but you could actually do this with a prefix array only. बताओ भैया, बाकी सब हो गया, मुझे वर्च्यू फोर्स के अलावा कुछ नहीं समझ आ रहा था इसका. I don't know what you're trying to say. Brute force के अलावा, say you're trying to say. I'll tell if we are on D right now. Okay, let me just show the code as well, very fast. So what I'm actually doing is, for every, I've scanned the NNQ, then I've taken scan the entire array, and I've calculated the entire sum of the array. Then I've calculated the prefix array. One thing to note here is that I've actually made the array of size n plus 1. The reason is because I'm keeping my 1 based indexing. Okay, for the 0th value, I'll keep 0 only. As you can see, for prefix 0 is 0. Okay, and then I'm calculating the prefix array. And then I'm actually calculating the new sum. For every query, I'm just saying sum minus prefix of r minus prefix of l minus 1 plus k times r minus l plus 1. That's all. If my new sum is odd, then print yes, otherwise print no. I hope this is also clear to everyone. If you want to see my code better, you can just go to my submissions and then see. Alright, so okay, let's move forward. Let's move to problem E, which I think is an interactive problem. And I think I need to first explain like what interactive problems are. Okay, I didn't really have time before the stream. Otherwise, I would have actually like read about these as well so that I could give you the exact information. But I'll tell you what I know. So, what do we really mean by interactive problems? Before that, let's just learn how does a compiler actually prints and scans values. While printing or scanning values, we actually have a stream. Okay, this stream is responsible for printing or scanning values. So for Cin actually takes a stream for inputting the values, and Cout actually takes a stream for outputting the values. Now what happens is compiler tries to optimize everything so that when you actually say Cout, okay, it actually takes a black box, let's say, and in that black box it keeps on storing all the values which are printed right now, but it doesn't really print on the screen. It keeps it to itself so that it can print after some interval, so that less time is wasted while printing. Okay, but the issue is in interactive problems, you need to print some values, and then right after printing the value, you need to scan on the value. So you need to ensure that the compiler actually printed that value on the screen, and then so that you can actually scan the other value. That is why like these kind of problems are actually known as interactive problems. To ensure that your compiler is actually printing all those values, you actually need to use endl. Endl actually ensures that the stream is flushed and then a new stream is taken. Okay, that's all the difference. So basically, after printing every line, and like when you actually need to take an input, before that, just do cout endl or f flush stdout. What this will do is it will flush out all the values that are in this black box, print them, and then take a new stream for output. Okay, that is all you have to know about interactive problems. Okay, alright, so let's read this problem first, and then I'll tell you how you have to do this. Okay, cool. Just a second. Cool. Okay, do like the stream, guys. I don't see many likes to the stream for some reason. But anyways, before the last stage of the exam, the director conducted an interview. We gave gone n piles of stones. The ith pile has ai stones. So basically, there are n piles of stone. Every pile has ai number of stones. Okay, each stone is identical and weighs 1 gram. So if there are 10 stones, that means the weight of that is 10. But there is one stone in the entire pile which actually has a weight of 2. Gon can only ask the director questions of one kind. He can choose k piles, and the director will tell him the total weight of the piles suitable. So basically what he can do is he can take any k piles, any number of piles from all the total piles, and say like I want this and this pile. The director will actually tell the sum of all the piles. Using this, we need to find which pile actually had the faulty stone. That's the entire question. Okay. Now, before actually moving into input, output, and whatever, let's just look at this diagram. Basically, what the question is actually trying to say is that we have 5 piles. This is the very first file, this is second, third, fourth, and fifth file. If I tell the director some piles that, okay, tell me the sum of these piles, the director will tell me the entire sum of all the piles. I need to figure out which pile actually has this stone with weight 2. For example, if I say to my director, tell me the weight of this pile, and this pile, the director will return 3 plus 3 plus 4, which is 10. Okay. So yeah, that's all you have to do. How do we really ask a question? The format of asking a question is do a question mark, then print the size of all the files that you need to ask. So basically we have 3 files and then the indexes of the files. So we have 2, 3 and 4. This is the question asking format. And then while taking an input, you just have to read the value, which is 10. Okay. Now, the question is pretty simple. Okay. Let's forget that this was an interactive problem. How would you really do? Okay. The way to solve this would be using binary search, because we are given at max we can take 30 queries. And if you see n is 2 into 10 to the power 5. Using binary search, we can actually find the answer in log n time. That's why we need binary search. Okay. What we will actually do is, we'll ask the director, okay, we are given all the files, weight of all the files. We are given weight or the size of the files. Yeah, we are given the size of the files. How many stones does one file have? Okay. What we can do is, first ask, if we have 5 files only, first ask, what is the size of these 3 files? Weight of these 3 files. If the weight of these 3 files is equal to the number of stones in these files, that means the faulty stone is not present in this. But since the faulty stone was present here only, we can be sure that the answer is either 1, 2 or 3. Now again we can divide this, take the first 2 elements and see if the faulty stone is this one. If it is in this one, then again divide and so on. This is how binary search works. Again, in this question, you will have to find a prefix array, which will actually contain how many stones are present from some index to the other index. Okay, so that is how you have to calculate it. Okay, so how do I really explain this? Okay, let me just take you to board. What's happening? Okay, so basically we had some files A1, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 and A6. What I will do is, first I will say, I'll say my L is 1. These are indexes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. First I'll say L is 1, R is 6. I will say make my M equal to L plus R by 2, which is 1 plus 6 by 2, which actually means 3. Which means first I will ask that give me the sum of all the values from index 1 to 3. So basically, since there are 3 indexes, I'll say 3, then I'll say 1, 2 and 3. I'll print this. My compiler will say, okay, size of 1, 2 and 3 is some x value. I'll scan this value and then see, using my prefix sum will be, this should be equal to prefix of R, not R actually, M, because we took from 1 to M, prefix of M minus prefix of L minus 1. If this x is equal to this, then we can say the answer lies in the other half. If it is not equal to, then we can say the answer lies in this half. Let's say it was not equal to that. Now what I'll do is, I know my L is 1 and I know my answer lies between 1 to 3. So I'll change my R to 3 and then again do the same thing. Okay, now my new M will become 1 plus 3 by 2, which is 2, which means I need to ask the director, give me the sum of first file and the second file. Okay, so I'll say question mark, sizes 2 files, 1 and 2. Then again it will give me some value y and so on. That is how you do it. Let me show the code now. Okay, where's Codeforces? Okay, let's see. Okay, we can use binary search. Yes, wahi karna tha bro. Akshat bro, in this problem only binary search on answer right. Yes, I'll have also feeling for binary search. Yes bro, show the codes are enough of the theory. Okay, let me show the code. So what I'm actually doing is, first I've scanned the entire array, then I've made the prefix array. Again remember, I'm using one based indexing. Whenever you're taking prefix arrays, it's better to take one based indexing. Okay, then I have my L equals to 1 and R equals to 1. Now while printing every query, if you see, I had to print question mark, then size of that, and then all the indexes. I printed a question mark, size of the number of stacks that I want, and then every index. After that, I'm printing endl. What this endl will do is it will say that okay, move to a new line and flush all the output. And then I'm scanning the value which my compiler is giving me. And that is how I'm going. If my sum is equal to the design value, then I will say L is equal to m plus 1, because right now I found the answer from L to m. All the piles are good. That means my answer remains in the remaining part. Okay, that's my L is equal to m plus 1. Otherwise, I'll say my answer lies in this part only. So my R will become m. And that's all. When you exit this while loop, your answer will be present in n. Can't we solve this without printing question mark? No, you cannot solve this without printing question mark, because the question, like the input format says that while asking a question from the compiler, you need to start with the question mark. Okay. It took me half an hour to realize that printing all the values for query from 1 to mid will suffice. To realize that printing all values for query from okay, the explanation of the test case confused me. Okay, it's okay. I am feeling that you might not have done many interactive problems. If you have done many interactive problems, you won't even have to read the input. Input is always the same. Okay, cool. I hope this is clear to everyone, and we can move forward to the next question. What's the next question? Okay, Codeforces down. Very nice. Let's see if we can visit m1.codeforces. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Let's see if I'm trying. Okay. I need to go to Div-4. Yeah, I can at least open the questions. Okay, we need to go to it. Come on. Okay. The way my first try with the interactive problem. Okay, cool. Let's see if an access problem if. If not, we'll have to wait for a minute. Okay. If you have any other questions, you can ask me in the middle, because we can't really do anything right now. In the meanwhile, I'll try to see if I can enter Codeforces. Not dots. Where is Codeforces? Courses. How to become expert? Just practice. Try to solve various variety of questions, especially DP, and be a little fast. Okay, because I became even CM because I had some speed. That's all. And if problems usually are of which topic? We can't really say anything about that. It can be of DP, it can be of constructive algorithms, it can be greedy or anything. Okay, so you can't really generalize what problem C is about. Please tell me how do I practice. I was able to solve 4 problems in 30 minutes, but couldn't do more. Okay, if you're able to solve 4 problems, that means in Div-2 as well, you're able to solve A and B and not C. So just go in all the previous contests and try to solve those C problems. That's it. That's how I would practice if I was at your point. Okay, can we go? Yeah, we can access Codeforces now. Okay, cool. Let's move to F. Okay, cool. So what the question actually says is that I am not going to read the problem statement. I'm just going to tell you like what the question is saying. So we have a box of size n and n, and we have a ball. The starting point of the ball is given, and the direction in which it is moving is also given. There are only 4 directions in which it can move. Either it can move in the bottom left direction, okay, which is if the ball is here, bottom left is this one. Sorry, bottom left is this one. Bottom right is this one. How do I say? Top right is this one, and top left is this one. We're using down and up instead of bottom and top. Okay. Now, we are given the initial position of the ball and we are given a final position. We need to see if there is any time when this ball actually collides with that final position. If yes, print the number of times the ball would bounce on the box before reaching that position. That is what you have to do. Okay. Now, the good thing about this question is it is mentioned in the constraints that sum of n into m over all test cases does not exceed 5 into 10 to the power 4, which means how many points do you actually have in the entire grid? This is n, this is n. Total number of points would be n cross n, which actually means that size of the entire grid is less than 10 to the power 4. Which means, and if you see, this ball will cover every point at least once. So what you can do is, if you even brute force for this ball and try to see how many, like what all indexes it was able to reach in this many turns, you can set this as the upper limit. It might be that it is moving the same direction only, but we don't really care about that. We'll just see that for the next 50,000 steps, what are all the indexes it is covering. If any of those indexes is equal to the final index, then we can say the answer is yes, otherwise the answer is no. That's all you have to do. Okay, but this question actually focuses a lot more on implementation. You have to be good at implementation in order to solve this question, because some directions are given. It is an entire box, so it might take some time to solve this question. Okay, I'll quickly show my code. I don't think there's much to explain in the implementation. I'll just show my code, try to explain some parts of it, and then you can just spend some time with my code. Look at this picture. This picture is very good. Look at this picture and then try to see like how exactly I'm moving in my code. Okay, cool. So let me just show what's happening. Let me just show my code. Yes, मेरा question आ गया finally. Okay, cool. So this is the code that I wrote. Okay, I'll explain my code, what I'm actually doing. Okay, so first I have some global variables. Okay, I didn't take a screenshot. First I have some global variables, which is nm, which is the size of the entire box, start x and start y, the starting points of the ball and ending points of the ball. That's all I have in the global variables. Then for every index I'm scanning all these values. Then I'm scanning this string, which is the direction in which the ball is moving initially. Okay, now let's say if this is my box and my ball is present right here, and let's say I say that it is moving in UR direction, which is upright, which is this. Okay, now if you see, this is my x, this is my y, according to the box given in the picture. Okay, if you see, if I'm moving up, my x is decreasing. From x, I'm going x minus 1. Okay, but my y is increasing because it is moving right. So my y is actually become y plus 1. So that is what I'm doing. This x and y tells me in which direction my x will move and y will move. Right now it is 1 and 1. Okay, I first see if my first character in the string is u. Yes, it is u. That means instead of having plus 1, I will have to do minus 1 for x. And that is exactly how we are doing. And the other indexes are. For r, we already have 1. If it would have been L, we would have said y is minus 1. But right now, I will say my y is 1, which means we are moving in the positive y direction. Okay, this is that part. Now I have a variable for bounce and flag. Now, if you see, I am actually saying, tell me what all indexes I will cover for the next 50,000 indexes. Why 50,000? Because I know the size of n into m is 50,000. That means in 50,000 turns, I will have covered every point if it was possible. Okay, so before moving, I'm just checking if I've already reached my ending point. If yes, flag equals to 1, break out of the loop. Otherwise, I have this check function. What this check function does is, it actually checks if I have to take a bounce, and if yes, it actually reverses my directions as well for me. I'll go to the check function. Now this check, what this is actually doing is, it is saying if my start x is equal to 1. Let me make the, okay, let me just show, yeah. X is 1, 2 and so on, and y is 1, 2 and so on. I say if start x is equals to 1, let's say my ball is right here right now, that start x is equals to 1. If it is equals to 1 and x is equals to minus 1, when was it minus 1? If it was moving in the up direction, which means if it is moving in the up direction, change my direction, exactly because we have already reached the border. Change my direction. Now my x will, instead of increasing, my x will decrease. I have done the exact same thing. X multiply equals to minus 1. If my x was 1, it will become minus 1. If it is minus 1, it will become 1. Or if my start x is equals to n, if my ball is here and x is equals to 1, when was x equals to 1? When it was d, if it was moving down. Okay, then also change my direction. If since my x was 1, it will become minus 1. And my flag is equals to 1, saying that I had a bounce. I'm doing the exact same thing for the y-axis, and then I'm just returning this flag, which tells me if I took a bounce or not, because I need to count the number of bounces as well. This check, I add this to the bounce and then update my x and y. I know my x and y will never go out of bounds because I've already bounced the ball in the container. I've changed the x and y as well. After doing this entire thing, I know what all positions my ball would have moved in the next 50,000 moves. If it came to the ending point, then my flag would be 1. Otherwise, my flag would be 0. If my flag is equal to 1, I print the bounces. Otherwise, I print minus 1. And that's all you have to do for this problem. I hope this is also clear to everyone. Okay. Is it clear to everyone? I'm thinking of doing some Q&A in the end. If you have any questions, you can just ask me in the end. Like any general questions related to CP or maybe interview preparation or anything. Okay, but for now, we are done with this question. And let's move to the last two questions, which are G1 and G2. So directly solve G2. There is no need to solving G1. Wait, you are the same Naman, right? जो segment free में है. I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to say. Akshay. Segment free. I don't know what you're trying to say. Okay, let's move to G2. I think most of the people wanted to see an ENF and they will drop now. If you want to ask any general questions to me, you have to wait till the end and then you can ask. Or maybe come back in 10 minutes. Okay. Alright, so let me read the question. This is a very easy question. G1 and G2 are very easy. Initially, array A contains just the number 1. So we have an array with only one number. That number is also 1. You can perform several operations in order to change the array. In one operation, you can collect some subsequences of A and add into A an element equal to the sum of all the elements of the subsequence. Okay, so basically, let's say you had an array. You can take any subsequence out of this, find the sum of all those values, and then add that value to the entire array. And right now, this sequence actually starts with 1, 1. Okay, now you are given a final array C. Check if C can be obtained from the initial array A by performing some number of operations on the initial array. So the initial array was only one number with which is 1. We are given a final array. We need to see if there is any possible way of finding this, of getting this final array. We don't have to tell the operations. We just have to say yes or no, that if it is possible or not. That's all we have to do. The constraints are, we have 10,000 test cases, 1,000 test cases. N is still 2 into 10 to the power 5. And it is given sum of n is 2 times 10 to the power 5. Okay, so basically we can either solve this as n of 1, n log n or n root n. That's all. Okay, how do we really solve this question? Let me show. So let's take this input. Okay, we have 5, 1, 3, 2 and 1. For simplicity, the very first thing that we'll do is we'll sort this array. 1, 1, 2, 3 and 5. The reason is because we had 1 in the starting. Right now, let's say my array is 1 only. What I'll do is I'll say that, okay, take this one is also subsequence. This is my array right now. Okay, and add it to my array. So another one came. Now I'll say take this one and take this one. The sum of these is 2 and add it to the array. So I got 2. Now take this one and this 2. Sum is 3, so add 3. And now take this 2 and this 3 and sum is 5, so add 5. And if you see this array and this array are same, therefore we can say the answer of third case is yes. How do we really solve this problem? If you see, after sorting, let's say we have sorted the array and this was the entire array. We had A1, A2, A3, A4 and so on. How do we check it is possible to get A4? Okay, now the only possible way to get A4 would be if A1 plus A2 plus A3 is actually greater than A4, greater than equal to A4. Because when you actually, when you have to get A4, You have to take all the values that you already had and then find the sum of any sum of those values and then add it. So it is necessary for us to at least have A4 amount of values. That the sum of those values should be at least A4. And that is all you have to do. Basically, sort the entire array because we had 1 in the starting. Okay, and we know to get a bigger number, you will actually need smaller value. Okay, that is why we are sorting. Now, to get a bigger number, just see if sum of all the smaller values before this is actually greater than that value. Okay, if it is greater than that value, that means there is some possible way to get that value. That's all you have to do. Okay. For example, let's take this input. We had 7, 1, 5, 2, 1. After sorting, this becomes 1, 1, 2, 5, and 1. When you are at 1, this one is already given. You say, since the sum, right now my sum is 1. Next value comes as 1. Since the sum is equal to the value, that means it is possible. So add this one as well. Now we are at this index. Right now my sum is 2. Since this 2 is equal to this 2 only, that means it is possible to get it. So add this 2 as well. Now my sum is 4. But if you see, I have a 5 in the array. Sorry, this is 7. Yeah, I have a 5 in the array. Since my entire sum is 4 right now, there is no way I can actually get a 5. Now you might say maybe we could actually get the other values after this. It is not possible to get other values after this as well because their sum will be like their amount will be greater than this amount only. So if we are not able to make this 5, there is no way we can make 7. And that is like why this approach works. So that is all you have to do. For every index, you just have to check if the sum of all the remaining indexes before this is greater than equal to this value. If yes, keep going. Otherwise, say it is not possible. That's all you have to do for both G1 and G2 because this approach actually works in O of n. Okay, let me show the code as well very fast. Okay, so this is the code. Okay, so what I'm actually doing is I'm scanning the entire array. The very first condition although is check if the very first value after sorting is 1. Because if we have any value smaller than 1, that means it is a wrong input because we had at least 1 in the entire array in the starting. Therefore, it is not possible to get any value smaller than that. So if my first value is not equal to 1, then just print no straight away. Otherwise, make my sum equals to 1 right now, flag is 0. Then for every value, just check if this value is less than equal to the sum. If yes, add this value to the sum. Otherwise, just say flag equals to 1, break out of this loop and then print. That's all. I had to write break here instead of continue. Anyways. Okay, I hope this is also clear. Okay, let me read. Let me read the chat. If समझ नहीं आ रहा है. I would say just go back into the video. I think I explained it pretty well. Just go back into the video and try to see like what I'm trying to explain. Actually, it's a community on WhatsApp which was created by some Microsoft guy. A Naman guy is really active there. I thought it's you, my bad. No, that's not me. Repeat again after sorting. I think I've repeated. If you still want to know, just let me know. But what if none of those values add to A4? Yeah, if none of those values add to A4, then the answer is no. But how to prove it? I've already proved it. How can we verify this? I've already told that. But what if none of the values before it adds to the exact ith value, and even if the sum of all the previous values is greater than? No, it will always be such that case that we will be able to make that value. Because we had all the smaller values. We had 1 also. Then we obviously had 2. Then after that, we might have like 4, 5, 6. But it will always be possible to make value. Like, could you check this one? It was working in my compiler, but showing wrong answer in Codeforces. I think you tried to paste a link, but you cannot really paste any links in the chat, so I can't really see that. Maybe you can just DM me in my Codeforces account, and then I'll see from there. Okay, that's all for this. I hope everybody is clear with all the questions now. Is there something anybody else wants to know? Otherwise, I can end the stream. And also subscribe to the channel, guys. I am close to 6K subscribers. So let's get that by tonight. Thank you. Okay, yeah. Okay, and do like the stream. I only have 36 likes. Also follow me at different accounts. I've pasted them in the bio, in the description of this video. Just follow me at different accounts. I'm starting to get very active on all the other accounts as well. Subscribed already. Thank you. Thank you, Rohan. Okay, cool. Okay. I'll wait for a minute or two for someone to ask anything. Otherwise, I'll end the stream. We have a contest tomorrow as well, I think. It's a Div-2 round, education round. So I'll come live at 10:30 again tomorrow. Good to know that you read books. I don't know how you know that, maybe from Instagram. I actually post a lot on Instagram now. How to simplify problems and make observations like you do. Just practice. I have not used any trick. I have just practiced. That's all. I don't even know like many advanced algorithms. Like I know segment trees, but I don't really know how to implement lazy propagation in that. I don't know much about Fenwick trees and all those like advanced topics. I am all about speed and just taking the basic observation. That's all. Please check your message. I'll check my Codeforces message out. Okay, let me just open up right now only. If you have, I don't have any message right now. On which part can I work on if I can't solve ENF? ENF of which like Div 4, Div 3, Div 2? Tell me about that. Okay, I have a message on Codeforces. You haven't pasted. Okay, this is the link. Oh, come on. Okay, let me open this up. Seems to, okay. This on which part can I work on if I can't solve ENF? This contest especially. If you cannot solve ENF, was it because you could not really get the question, like could not solve the problem, or was it because you had less time? Because if you had less time, then you all you have to do is just keep on practicing. And even for the other case, also keep on practicing. But if it was because of time, then start practicing with respect to time. Okay, make your own contest on Codeforces. You can do that. Okay, and then like do that. It was working. Okay, let me just look at your code. This is for which question? G1. Okay, so what you have done is t equals to 1. Okay, C in t solve. Then you are doing make a vector of n plus 1, prefix of n plus 1, scan all the values, sort the entire vector. Then x equals to v1. The first mistake here is that, and that is the mistake actually, you have made a vector of size n plus 1. Perfect, no problem with that. But you have not told what are the initial values. Because of that, when you're starting with index 1, you're saying pfx of 1 is actually equal to pfx of 0 plus x. Right now, pfx doesn't have any value, therefore, it will actually take a garbage value depending upon the compiler. And that is why this prefix array will be wrong. Okay, and that is why you are getting a wrong answer on this. Okay, cool. Anything else? What did I do? Codeforces is down. No. Okay. Anything else? How many people are here? G2 got hacked. Did my G2 get hacked? Please don't say that. No. My G2 is okay. Your G2 got hacked. Okay. I did the same thing, sorting array. Then why did it get hacked? Okay. Cool. Is there something else you want to know, or else I can end the stream? It's exactly 1 hour right now to the stream. Less than like by 1 minute. 5 minutes actually. Okay. G square, is that your handle? Okay. Let's see what mistake you did. B underscore. Okay, we need an underscore. How do I get an underscore here? Oh, yeah. I'm actually using my iPad, so not the best way to actually see. But let me see your code for G2. Okay, let's see. Okay, you have coded in Java. Okay, where is the actual code? Not very familiar with Java. Okay, so this is the main function. So let's just see. Okay, I cannot scroll this up. Let me open up the key. Okay. Okay, so what is wrong here? You are saying while t becomes 0, scan the entire array. Okay, then make sum equals to 1. Okay, perfect. If array 0 is not equal to 1, print no. Perfect. Then from 1 till n, you actually had to go from, okay, 1 till n. Yeah, 1 till n. If array I is greater than sum, temp equals to 2, break. Otherwise, sum plus equals to array I. Everything seems right to me. What is missing? We have sorted the array. Is it giving wrong answer or what? Oh, I cannot. What's not sure what wrong you're doing here. If array I. Oops. Uh, AI is greater than equal to sum होगा. If AI is greater than equal to sum, no, it will be AI greater than sum. Then only temp is true because then only we get no. Maybe because of n log n you got TLE. Your complexity, no, you didn't get a TLE because of n log n. That didn't have been the issue. What is the issue? But 0 till n. Then you are saying your sum is equals to 1. Oh, are you getting a TLE or wrong answer? You got time. You are actually getting, I think, a wrong answer. Not sure, like I don't really know much about Java, but it might be because you have taken long. I don't know what is the range of long. Maybe your sum is not able to account for all the values. That is the mistake I think you did. And yeah, good hack. A very small mistake, but good hack. So some people hack it using some specific cases. He has used array.sort, which is problematic in Java, and can go up to n square. Is that so? I didn't really know about that, but maybe this is the case as well. Gaurav, you can maybe ask Rohan about it. I don't really know anything about Java. Jagin say, okay, how is work-life balance at your team right now? I have recently joined Microsoft. I won't say it's the best, but yeah, it's not very hectic. Maybe because of Inlogin. Okay, how to get internship off campus if we get a good practice of PSA and some experience in CP in third year. The best way is just start cold emailing. Go on LinkedIn, start messaging all the people that you can message, and maybe some will respond with a referral or something. Get in contact with all the HRs on LinkedIn, and that is how you have to do it. Maybe ask your seniors or like ask your super seniors actually who have already passed out from your college. Ask them if they can give a referral in their companies for an internship. Otherwise, there are many contests happening as well. If you go to Hacker Earth, there are many contests for internships as well. You can actually give them those as well. I got some calls from that. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Is there something else? Okay. Cool. Very few people in good MNCs. Ah, okay. I don't think so. Now, too many people are in good MNCs. What's my general audience? Like, can you tell me like which year you all are on? Because I want to know if second year people watch my most videos or third year people or fourth year people. I feel third year people watch, but let's see. Second thread is commented on some blog. Rohan says, okay. How to manage both CP and web for job preparation? Uh, just like I would say, first give some time to either web or CP. That is how I would do it. I won't really be like, okay, half day CP, half day web. That doesn't really work for me. Okay. Okay. Third year, second year, third year, second year, third year, soon fourth year. Okay. So I think there is a draw between second year and third year, which is what I thought. First year, really nice. Current got job as Java backend, 2021 pass out. Okay, really nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, I also thought like many second and third people might be watching. I'm actually thinking of making a playlist of 100 problems which are actually on A2. There used to be this A2 OJ ladder for problem C. So if you solve all those 100 problems, then solving C in every contest becomes very easy. I'll solve those questions and after that I could solve every problem of C. I'm thinking of making a playlist for those questions, but I'm not really able to find any time for that. Okay, cool. Cool. I think I'll end the stream now. How to revise and remember DSA because most of the time I forget the concept. Actually, if you keep on revising after some time and some time, they get stuck in your head. You don't really forget about them. Like I haven't read about linked list trees, most part of graphs as well for more than a year, but I remember everything. I might not be as fast as I used to be, but I remember everything. Darshan says it will be really helpful to us. Yes, I'm trying to make that, but I'm not able to find any time for that. But I'll try to make all the videos by end of this month. Not this month actually, by first week of next month. Cool. Okay, cool. Let's meet tomorrow. We have another contest tomorrow. So let's meet at 10:30 tomorrow. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Do tell your juniors as well, since like many people are in third year. Do tell your juniors as well about my channel because I'm trying to come live after every contest. At least I'm trying to do that. So yeah, I've got to know that these streams are very helpful to people. For example, like I told about interactive problems. I wish somebody told like that to me because I read all about these streams and everything after my fourth year. Can one check the message? Third question C. Can it be helped? I'll check the message after the stream. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Let's meet tomorrow. Bye, guys.